Today I will be showing you guys the top 10 decks for the CRL. What's up everybody? Today I will be showing you guys the top 10 decks for the CRL 20 win challenge. The first deck is gonna be this G-Skelly Hawk Rider deck with Earthquake and a pretty quick cycle. You got the Queen in there for the air defense. To be honest, this is a pretty hard deck, guys. I'll rate this 9 out of 10 in difficulty, so it's pretty hard to use, but if you're a Hawk Rider main, I would recommend using this deck. Next up, second deck, we got the Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers Pump, Golden Knight, Ebobs, Bandit, Ghost, Mirror. Very strong deck, but somewhat hard to use. Difficulty, I'll give this like a 7 out of 10. It's easier than Hawk Earthquake, but if you don't know how to play Three Musketeers, it's gonna be difficult. For you guys out there that are like Bridge Spam or Three Musketeer mains, I would definitely recommend this deck. Super strong right now. You can also switch out Zap for Bob Barrel if you're facing like a lot of Lockbait players. Third deck will be this Lava Loon, Mighty Miner, Skeleton Dragons, Mega Minion deck. Pretty classic Lava Loon deck. Fireball Zap as the spell. So you can also take arrows and Zap, but I would still use Fireball even though it got nerfed. I still think it's pretty good. You got the Tombstone for defense. Pretty simple deck, I would say. I'll give this a 4 out of 10 in difficulty. Okay, fourth deck. Warrior Recruits, Hawk Rider. Flying Machine, Golden Knight, Cage, Zappies, Bob Barrel, and Arrows. This is a very strong Royal Recruits Royal Hawks deck. Probably the best one right now. You can also switch out arrows for Fireball, but I would recommend using arrows in case your opponent has something like Firecracker, because Firecracker is super strong against this deck. What you want to do with this deck is basically just play defensively, play Cage, split some Zappies, then split Royal Recruits, build up a big push on both sides, always apply a lot of double lane pressure, and you should be just fine. Next up, fifth deck, we got this Giant Skeleton Drill Bridge Spam deck. I really like this one. It's probably one of my favorite decks right now. It's super strong. So I would recommend using this. It's kind of hard to use. Difficulty, I would give this like an 8 out of 10 because there's some tricks you can pull off. It's pretty hard to master, but it is super strong. Next up, we got the no damage graveyard deck. Skeleton King, Baby Dragon. I mean, we all know this deck, right? I would say this is a pretty defensive deck. It's somewhat hard to use. Difficulty, I would give this like a 7 out of 10. You have to play super defensive often, but it will pay off. You'll just like in double elixir and triple elixir, you can just spam Skeleton King abilities and graveyards all over the place. This deck is super good on defense. The only like counter to this is probably Lava Hound. Deck number 7 is gonna be this Balloon deck. More of an unknown deck. Not a lot of people know this deck, but I believe it's pretty strong. It doesn't even have a hero, because I don't think it needs a hero. You got one spell only, Snowball, but you have Hunter and Bats to clear like spam units. I would say this is a pretty offensive deck. I like playing this one because you're just basically cycling Loon, and you're going always in with Loon, Bats, Miner, Snowball. Pretty aggressive deck. It's not that hard to use. I would give this like a 5 or 6 out of 10 in difficulty. Deck number 8. I know a lot of you guys are gonna like this one. I think a lot of you guys like Lockbait. This is not a classical Lockbait version. The classic one would be like Inferno Tower, or Goblin Gang, or Guards and Princes. It's a little bit different. You got the Mighty Miner, and you got a pretty quick cycle with Dart Goblin, Skeletons, and Fire Spirit. But if you're Lockbait mains, I would recommend using this Lockbait version. I mean, you can also try running the original one, but I think this one is 10 times better. So if you're running Lockbait usually, try out this deck. So, deck number 9 is gonna be Giant Mirror. And I know all of you guys hate this deck, but it is probably one of the top 3 decks right now, I would say. Even though E-Giant got nerfed and Golden Knight got nerfed, I still believe it's very strong. You can run this deck with Lightning. I put Lightning right now because Lightning is probably the most, common. You can also run Rocket or Earthquake, for example. But for the beginning, I would recommend sticking with Lightning. If you, for example, notice a lot of people are running Cannon, you can put in Earthquake. If you notice a lot of people are playing like Sparky or Lava Hound, you can also put in the Rocket. And finally, least but not last, we got Mortar. Personally, I do believe this is probably the strongest out of the top 10 decks I just showed you. It's not that hard to use. I would give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10 in difficulty. This is a very safe deck. You probably only struggle against beatdown decks when they, for example, have like a Baby Dragon and Night Witch, or they have, for example, arrows and zap against your spam units. If you face people that have like a lot of splash answers or a lot of spells, it's gonna be difficult. But besides that, Skeleton Skami is such a broken combination. Mortar is super good right now, also against all these E-Giant players. Cannon card is probably like one of the strongest cards as well right now. So this is probably gonna be my favorite out of these 10 decks. Feel free to write in the comments which of these 10 decks you're probably gonna play, which one of these 10 decks you personally prefer the most, which one you like the most, whatever. That's gonna be it for the video, guys. Very short video. I wish you all good luck. You got this. Do not worry. Play calm. You got this, guys. And don't forget to leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.